Welcome to Three and Out with Jason and Kevin. I am Jason. That is Kevin. We are on the Orange and Black Insider on YouTube. That's our YouTube channel. It's us and the Orange and Black Insider, which is Anthony Cosenza and John Sheeran. And then we are on for audio stuff. It's the Believe Network, BLEAV. Our channel is called Believe in Cincy. It's Three and Out, which is us. It's OBI. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends, and it's Matt and Willie No Ball with Matt. Coach Matt Minich and Willie Lutz. So, Kevin, how's it going, brother?
Going good.
Threw
a brother in there.
There's a hard R at the end of that, brother. It's just a weird.
That threw me.
Yeah, no, it threw me too. And it came out of my mouth.
Joining in the Twitter discourse just a little bit with the Jamar Chase stuff. People are wild, man. I get that, like, the sticker shock of what the for the record, just put this out there. I don't know if you're not active on Twitter, you're not part of it. Leaked information seems legit that Jamar Chase is basically asking for 4 years, $160 million.
Yep.
The sticker
and 120 fully guaranteed. Yeah.
Yep. Has absolutely caused a bunch of people to freak out. I don't know why. I get the cap math is weird, but he'd be signing this contract a year earlier than Justin Jefferson, which, with the remaining money already owed to him, would average out to about $32 million a year, which is pretty much exactly what Justin Jefferson is getting. He just wants Justin Jefferson's deal. It's a lot of money. But if you want premium players, you pay premium. It is just what it is. Sign the man.
Yeah, and I mean, they paid Joe Burrow, which, we all knew they were going to do, and there's no questioning that quarterback is the most important position on the field. You need a quarterback. And not many teams are going to have a number one receiver of, actually, I don't know if there's any team they're going to have a number one receiver of Jamar Chase's caliber and a quarterback of Burrow's caliber, but there's something about the two of them together. You know what I'm saying? That's worth the extra money alone. Just the uncoachable X factor of their experience together. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's absolutely worth it. And it's not that the Bengals can't afford it, because they absolutely can. They 100% can. What they can't do afterwards is expect to keep T, expect to keep, whatever, expect to keep T. And then they're going to have to get really good at drafting. You know what I mean? They're going to have to, they're not going to be able to sign guys. I mean, they'll still be able to sign guys in free agency, but not like DJ Reader and Trey Hendrickson and all those, you know what I'm saying? Not like a bunch of guys all at once in one season. It's going to be little bits here and there, but they're going to have to do most of the work in the draft. But that's what good teams do. That's what good teams have to do. That's what the Chiefs have had to do. And you see guys like they do well. Isaiah Pacheco, that's a 7th round pick for them. He's a Super Bowl champion. So they got to pay the guy. So we're recording this on Wednesday night. It would not surprise me in the least if he was signed by Friday.
I mean, that's the vibes, right? We're getting we're getting leaked information for the first time in a long time. Ocho is popping off, which I mean, take that for what it's worth. The man just likes to hear himself talk. I love him, but he does just like to hear himself talk.
You can't say he's like a reliable news source.
No.
As much as I'd love him to be. Yeah.
Insiders are treating the leaked information like it is legitimate. Yeah. So all signs point to, in my opinion, this thing getting done sooner rather than later. But we'll see. If it doesn't happen until next year, that's fine. It is what it is.
It is what it is. I think it would be a massive mistake on the Bengals' part, but I don't see that happening either. I think it'll get taken care of before the first game.
What I mean by that's fine is that I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm used to disappointment, and I will
protecting yourself.
I will learn to live with whatever.
Yes. When Kevin says that's fine, that's his protective cocoon that he's putting over top to protect his heart from the Bengals. All right.
Not wrong.
So tomorrow the Bengals play their third and final preseason game, and then cutdown day is the 27th, which is next Tuesday.
Do you like that it's all in one big chunk now? I don't like it.
I don't know if I like it or dislike it. I feel like it's more organized when it comes in waves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like it might be better for the players to come in waves.
I feel like it is.
But only if you're one of the first guys. I see what you're saying. There's less and less competition.
As
Go.
players are released in waves, then more
Yeah.
people who you think might get more snaps in practice, get more coach attention, and the ones you know for certain don't get it, definitely like catch the eye of other teams. They have a chance to go out there and maybe join a practice squad to
Right.
make a name for themselves somewhere else. I just like it better when it's in waves.
Well, let
It
me
doesn't matter. It's just an
just
opinion, but
just to play devil's advocate, though, something I thought of while you were saying is, let's say they said, "Oh, hey, we're gonna sign a defensive tackle," and he's one of those first wave guys. Like, "Oh, let's grab him while he's there." And then 2 weeks later, somebody that you liked more happens to get cut. You know what I mean? So that's the only reverse of that argument that I could see of having an upside. But that's a negative for, I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know. We'll see. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us.
it doesn't
Whatever.
matter.
So I don't know how many are on the roster right now, but it's more than 53, a lot more than 53. I think they're going to have to cut somewhere around 20 something people. So out of 53, I would be willing to say that maybe 48 are rock solid,
Yes.
unless they're hurt. They're rock solid. And really, the last 5 or 6 spots come down to maybe 10 guys of
Yep.
which of those guys, right? So what we're going to talk about tonight is a handful of guys that, like, when we hear all the Bengals parted ways with this guy, this guy, and this guy, we're like, oh, I get it, because there's not enough room, but it would have been cool to have him. He's not going to clear waivers. That sucks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Go.
I mean, the obvious one, right, is going to be John Meta.
Yeah. Yep.
He is the camp favorite. No one knew who he was a few
Right.
weeks back. He was nobody to everybody. There was not a single person, in my opinion, who had this guy on his radar. And if you say you did, you're lying.
Yeah.
But he plays with an intensity that
Yes.
I mean, it's obvious why he plays that intensity. I think it's who he is, but also he wants this. He wants this bad.
Yep.
And he has, I think, like almost double the tackles of any other person in the preseason.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Just
He will be
not to interrupt you.
desperately missed if he's cut.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, but he has 13 tackles, and the next guy has 7 on the Bengals.
Yeah.
So he has almost double the tackles of anyone else on the Bengals. And that was going to be the first guy on the list. That's going to be the first guy that I would think of, as it would be a shame if he got cut, because he is so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch. He is a really good downfield run defending linebacker. He is not a very good pass defender, at least not now. He's not.
And I don't think he ever will be. His
Probably
athletic
not.
profile really doesn't work that way.
You know who he makes me think of? He makes me think of Ray Malaluga, if Ray Malaluga knew where to be all the time. You know?
Sure. But he wasn't.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know the numbers, but Malaluga was a much better athlete than.
No, I know. I'm just saying that kind of style of linebacker.
Oh,
like
sure.
A downfield, I'm a middle linebacker run stopping guy. I'm not going to be good in pass coverage. He would be the 5th linebacker.
My first jersey ever that I bought myself was a Ray Malaluga jersey.
Well, okay. I had a Ray Malaluga jersey once. Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a better player than he was. I'm not. He ended up being good, but I was very, very hyped on Ray Malaluga. And he turned out to just be like, fine. He's fine.
He's fine. He's fine. When they took him in the 2nd round, I was like, you idiots. You let him fall to the Bengals in the 2nd round. And then, like, after year 2, you're like, okay, I get it. I mean, I get what
you're a good role player. It's fine.
He's a good role player. All right. So if he makes the team, he's going to be the 5th linebacker, right?
Yep.
I mean, because you have Logan Wilson, you have Jermaine Pratt, and you have ADG. They're not going anywhere. Joe Bocci is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know about Bailey. So I think Bailey's hurt. I haven't seen Bailey on the field, at least, at all. But I've seen a lot of Jog Meta, and I've seen a lot of Bocci, a little bit of ADG. But so 5 linebackers, I could see it. I mean,
he's on the Arizona Cardinals now.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, that's all right. That's why I haven't seen him.
Yep.
But I think that if the Bengals keep 5, that's the big question. Is they going to keep 5 linebackers or 4? It makes sense to keep 5. But
it does.
But
here's the issue.
He's never going to get on the field. On defense, at least. Just special teams guy.
And that's the issue. I feel like a special teams guy, you need a guy who's maybe a bit more of an athlete. And also you're saying, they could keep 5. That's true of every position group. If you look at every position group here, you need about one more guy than you can probably fit on that position group. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Moving on though. All right. Who you get next?
I got I
know it's going to be.
Go who?
It's going to be one of the Tanners.
It is. That's I
Yeah.
was about to say, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Is one of the Tanners
One of the
because, and it's
Tanners.
the same problem that they have is: do you keep 4 tight ends or 5 tight ends?
Yes.
4 tight ends is normal. 5 tight ends, that's a lot, and that means you're taking away from someone else, possibly that linebacker spot, right? Something. Um, I mean, Tanner Hudson has a year where he led the team in receiving yard, or not, sorry, led the tight end room in receiving yards. That was last year, but it was a bad, excuse me, it was a bad room. It wasn't the standard wasn't high. The bar wasn't high. You know what I
No,
mean?
it was not.
But I think the big thing is if you decide that one of these guys is expendable, who do you want? Do you want a young kid who you have under contract for 4 years, or do you want a guy who is just under contract for 1 year? You know what I mean? And you know what you have.
Yeah.
You know what you have. They seem a little bit similar to me. They're both big inline tight ends. You know what I mean? And I just feel like you have one guy for 4 years for cheap, and you have one guy for 1 year. And if you don't need them, and they don't because they have Mike Gesicki, they have Drew Sample, you know,
Yep.
and they have Eric All. You know, I don't think having 2 linebackers that really don't get on the field very often is going to help the team very much. So I could absolutely see if I had to pick which one I thought was going to get cut, I would say Tanner Hudson, and they keep Tanner McLaughlin because of the contract situation and his age. What do you think?
I tend to agree. Tanner McLaughlin has the potential to be a much better player than Tanner Hudson could ever be.
Yes,
So I
his
think
ceiling's
you're
higher.
right. If I'm playing devil's advocate, here's how I'm doing this. How many of these tight ends are actually going to get on the field this year for any significant amount of snaps? I know they're doing
Yeah,
some weird stuff. I just don't
right,
see there being a lot of snaps for anyone who's not Drew Sample or Gesicki.
right.
You're gonna get some. It's gonna happen. So, who do you want in that position? Do you want Eric All and McLaughlin, um, both who have no experience in this offense,
Right.
still need to be brought up, or do
Sure.
you want at least one of your 2 backups to have on the field experience in this offense, who even if it's at a lower level, can produce in
Yeah,
this
I mean, that's very
offense?
true.
That's the kind of guy you want on the bench, a guy you
Yep.
don't have to think about, a guy you don't have to bring up. You just know if he steps on the field, he will at least be okay.
Yeah.
But
No,
I
and
do
I
think you're
totally
right.
agree. Yeah.
But I think that's why it's kind of a question, right? It's not
Right.
obvious.
Yeah.
If it was like who will be a better player in 2 years? McLaughlin. I mean, hands down,
Right.
it's not a question to me. But who's better for this team and what this team needs now? I could see a version of events where the Bengals go, you know what, it sucks. We're going to try to sneak
Yeah.
McLaughlin on the practice squad. They will fail, and that'll be the end of it.
I agree with that. I could see a situation. I could see Hudson clearing waivers. I don't know.
Hudson, I think, has a better chance of clearing waivers. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a great chance, but I
Right.
do think it's a better chance
Yeah.
because
No,
Hudson's
I
not
agree.
really an athlete. McLaughlin is a high end athlete.
Yeah.
Teams are going to see the potential there.
They both have just that tight end look. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that Gronk look. Like
Yeah,
you may have been a caveman. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Um. All right. So yeah, Tanner McLaughlin, and then kind of Tanner McLaughlin, and then to a larger extent, Tanner Hudson.
Yep,
So
but either one will be a hard hit
yeah, it would be absolutely.
when they go.
Yep.
If you're choosing, who are you putting on the team?
Out of
Out of
those two,
yeah,
McLaughlin.
yeah, me too.
McLaughlin. His ceiling's higher. I don't think either one will be necessary. If you're dipping into McLaughlin and Hudson because you need them, then there's injuries, there's issues. You know what I mean?
Sure. But I mean,
Hopefully,
all it would take is Gesicki going down,
well,
and
right.
now
Yeah.
suddenly you need a
Sure.
pass catching tight end. I knew
Sure.
Drew Sample caught like 2 passes last year, and we were all really excited about it. That's not really what he does.
Right. Right. Well, you'd rely on All. Is hopefully All is the guy that everyone said he would be. Um, but still, I think that if I'm choosing, if you said, "Hey, you can only keep 4," then I'm gonna drop Hudson just because you have McLaughlin for 4 years guaranteed.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you don't know what you have. I think we know what Tanner Hudson is. We know. We
Yes.
don't know what Tanner McLaughlin is. It's a risk, but I think it's worth it for a
I
late
agree.
round guy like that. 6th round, I think. Right? 6th round.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Who's next?
Uh, this one's gonna hurt my wife, and I actually think that he's not. It's just one of her favorite players. She always
Sure.
watches stuff with me, and she like just same as anybody, just forms little like attachments to
Yeah.
players. DJ Ivy.
Okay.
I will miss DJ Ivy. I think he has a lot of potential, can't stay healthy.
Yep.
But I absolutely think he's on the bubble, and I could see him being cut. What about you?
I could too. He's going to start the season on PUP. I think that's almost a guaranteed. I think either released or on PUP. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not going to be against the roster if he's on PUP, but when he's ready to come back, who in the secondary do you want to kick out? You know what I'm saying? I'm really excited. That's the problem, is they've done a good job bringing in guys that they drafted, or bringing in a couple, just they've done a good job developing the secondary. Okay.
Yes.
And if DJ Ivy's not out there to prove himself, I mean, Jalen Davis has been out there
Well,
as
that's
a
gonna
backup. I know that's going to come up too.
I was about to say, because we might as well just bring these all in together, really,
Yeah.
if we're like doing this.
Jalen Davis is another one.
And DJ Ivy are in the same boat for me.
Yeah.
Where
Jalen Davis is another one.
Younger and healthier,
Mm-hmm.
either one or the other are looking to supplant these two. Like Jalen Davis has been a hell of a backup.
Yeah. The issue,
I
think,
do we want him or do we want Josh Newton? You know what I mean?
Well, I think the issue with Jalen Davis is he's a hell of a backup, but only in the slot. And do you really want to have one of your backups only able to back up one guy? Or do you want someone with some inside-outside versatility? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Jalen Davis is not Mike Hilton. He's not. When Mike Hilton's not in the game, you can tell. But he's a really good backup slot cornerback, a really good backup nickel.
But not even just the versatility of it. Like, do you want your backup to be Jalen Davis, a backup, or do you want your backup to have starter upside in a year or two? What's Josh Newton going to be here in a year or two? I mean, he could. I mean, I think that he's shown a lot of flashes that make me think that if he just gets up to speed a little bit more, I like where this kid could be here in a year.
Yep, I totally agree with you. I think that looks really good, and it's funny because it's the same boat. Like DJ Ivy and DJ Ivy's in a similar situation with just there's so much young talent in the secondary. You know what I mean? There's so many young cornerbacks. I'll tell you what really pushed him over the edge is Dax's success so far here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Is I didn't know. One of those things when he moves to cornerback and you think oh, well, I don't know how that's going to be. Like, well, at least they have DJ Ivy. You know what I mean? He showed some potential for a 7th round pick last year, but that's not going to be enough. I see 6 cornerbacks. I would not be surprised to see both Davis and DJ Ivy gone. I could see both of them gone.
I could. This is we should probably maybe do one more if you've got it. That was my list. I had 5 on my list. But real quick, I do want to acknowledge that I have said moving Dax Hill to cornerback was a mistake. I said he can't play outside. I said that is not his natural position, and I don't know what the Bengals are doing. Once again, we're seeing why I'm not a coach and have no real sway about anything in the NFL. Rightfully so. Dax Hill has been kind of killing it a little bit, especially for inheriting a new position. It's a good problem to have. I've been a Dax Hill fan since day one. I just didn't think the Bengals knew how to use him. Man, if he takes this job and DJ Turner is like CB3 or a backup kind of, we're in such a better position than I thought we were going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or what, even if he doesn't take the job, the fact that he's competing for it, he might be one of the best CB3s in the league. So I have 2 guys. I just want to mention one, Tyson Anderson. And the only reason I want to mention him is he spent his rookie year hurt. He spent last year hurt. 5 is a lot in the safety room, and it's all going to, I think it's going to come down between Dejon Anthony and Tyson Anderson if they only keep 4. And my guess is you keep Anthony because he's looked good. You know what I mean? If they do keep 5, then I could see Tyson Anderson sticking around, but it's just going to be like a special teams kind of thing. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. The only other guy that I thought of is kind of a little bit different, Jackson Kirkland. And the only reason I say that is because he started at left tackle in the last preseason game and he killed it. He looked really, really good. And I think if they release Jackson Kirkland, it means that Jackson Carman is staying on the roster. Right.
I knew where you were going with that
So-
in the moment. Because like I like Jackson Kirkland as a backup. I think
Right,
he's
I know.
potential. I don't have a deep emotional attachment to
Right.
Kirkland.
I
The way
do
like you
now.
form attachments to other people in camp. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kirkland leaving means Carmen staying, and now suddenly I'm very invested in Kirkland's success.
Very invested. I need Kirkland to show out on Thursday night against the Colts just to like solidify the whole thing. But the real big fact is Jackson Carmen only played 9 snaps.
There's no
in
way he
week
makes
2
the
of the
team after
preseason.
this, right? We're just
I can't imagine it. No, I
I
can't.
can't either.
I cannot imagine it.
This has been done since the first season. You know what I mean? This experiment has been done since the first season. They barely play him anymore. Just cut him, move on.
Cut him and move on.
It's time.
And, hopefully none of these guys like Jackson Kirkland have to play anyway. But if I'm going to have a backup left tackle in, I want Kirkland, not Carmen.
I want anybody but Carmen.
Anybody but Carmen.
Let's put Matt Lee at left tackle.
There you go.
And I bet he would still do better. Like, he is 100% a center and should do nothing else ever.
Yeah.
He has like no even guard flexibility. I bet he's still a better tackle than Jackson Carmen.
Might be. All right. I have one question for you. Speaking of Matt Lee, what's the chances that Matt Lee does not make the final 53?
Oh, like
0%.
1%. I mean, it really is nothing. Like, there's always the chance, right? So I'll say 1. At this point, the attention he's been getting, he's been with the twos almost exclusively since that first game. Matt Lee's a lock. I mean, the
fact that he played every snap at center.
Yes.
It made me think like, oh, they know what they have. They're just double checking. And I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Lee doesn't play on Thursday.
Oh, you mean
maybe Matt Lee doesn't play much. Maybe
just
plays a little bit and then they pull him. So
yeah, I don't think they will. They ran him through the ringer. He played a whole game. They know what they got. Honest to God, I said this. I don't think the Bengals will do this because it doesn't feel like a very Bengals move. But Ted Karras at guard and Matt Lee at center should at least be on the table. Should it be at least a discussion? If a guard goes down between the two starters, between Kappa and Volson, if one goes down, I think it should be a discussion. Because would you rather bring in Cody Ford at guard? Or would you rather bring in Matt Lee at center and have Ted Karras at guard? I don't know. I think Matt Lee at center and Ted Karras at guard sounds like a stronger unit to me.
Yeah. I think that if there was an injury between Volson or Kappa, or if one of them just was big time sucking, you know what I mean? And Kappa has struggled in the preseason.
I know. I didn't want to say it because I don't want to.
I know, but it doesn't mean anything at all. It doesn't mean anything, but it happened. So if that extends into the regular season, it wouldn't be the worst idea to say, hey, you know what, before we hand the ball over to Cody Ford or whoever, why don't we try Ted Karras, who has a lot of experience at guard, and see what Matt Lee can do at center. So I don't think it's worth doing now, but I could see, if there's an injury.
No. Only of reason. I don't think it should be the plan. I just think it should be like a discussion about like, hey, what are our backup plans in case of such and such? Like, we are worried about O-line depth. And I do think that one of the ways to mitigate that is to look at Ted Karras as both a center and a guard.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, he's done it before. He could do it again.
Done it well at a high level.
Yeah, he did. He did really well. So, all right, you got anything else, man?
No, that's it. We're getting close, man.
Yep. All right. So once again, we are on YouTube. We're on the Orange and Black Insider. It's OBI, which is Anthony Cosenza and John Sheeran, and then it's Kevin and I on OBI. Kevin and I on 3 and Out on OBI. And then the audio side is on the Believe Network, and our channel is Believe in Cincy. It's us, it's OBI, it's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends, and it's Matt and Willie No Ball with Matt Minich and Willie Lutz. So like, subscribe, follow all those things. Enjoy the game on Thursday night. I know we will. We'll be back next week to react to the final 53. And have a good weekend. Who Dey?